Look out, Earth! It's harmless phosphorescence! Hello, everyone! This is Big Old Piggy, Thoreau Smiley. Who's joining me this week?
I'm Josh CC, and push me back in.
I'm Brian Lesh, and I'm a little piggy.
I'm Alec Weber, and I've been rolling with it since you wore baby t-shirts, because you were a baby.
And this is Harmless Phosphorescence. It's the podcast where we watch every theatrically released full-length live-action superhero movie ever made. We gather some research into the production and the source material, then we tell you all about it. This show is brought to you by our patrons. Patrons like executive producers Michael Beckwith and Atticus Burkett. You can be a patron too. Head over to patreon.com/harmless entertainment. We got lots of bonus content there. We got Star Wars miniseries, holiday shows. We got music shows, and our monthly movie. Every month we do a movie from a different year, which is how it works is we each nominate a movie. Then the internet votes and decides which one of those four which we nominated. This month, the month of February, actually, we just did our January one, which was Point Break. February is going to be for the year 1998, and we have our winner, guys. Are you guys want to hear what our winner for February is? Or do you want me to surprise you when we start the podcast in February?
Let's wait till March.
Okay. So our February movie.
I want to know.
You want to? Okay. Our February movie is. I want to know what March is. I want you to show me.
Let me grab my calendar.
Our February movie is going to be The Truman Show.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
The Truman Show. That's our 1998 one. So that's our monthly movie. It takes $1 a month, and you get to hear the monthly movie every month, an additional podcast for you. So head on over to patreon.com/harmless entertainment and check it out. This week, though, on Harmless Phosphorescence, we are going to be watching Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows.
Halloween parade, bro. It's like the one night of the year where we fit in. Cool.
Get back here. What part of moving the shadows don't you understand?
I've never seen anything like this before.
Guys, I got a lead on what's going on.
Sensei Shredder.
This will help us build an army.
This is gonna be good! You're a rhinoceros! And you're a...
Huh. I'm a little piggy.
Whoa, whoa.
Hey, fellas!
What's your name?
Casey Jones.
Hey.
You guys like a thing? If the purple ooze can turn humans into animals,
It's on, baby!
it could turn us into humans. And we don't have to be stuck down here forever.
If there's a chance that'd make us human.
We're turtles, whether you like it or not.
Gear up, guys.
This isn't working!
We keep failing. Keep the team unified, and you shall always succeed.
Here we go!
Let's light them up.
Go, go, go! I don't know if this is such a good plan!
Don't go getting soft on me now. Oh, this is awesome!
Yes, 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 yes!
Is he coming in kind of fast? That went well.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows. Yes. Released June 3rd, 2016, with a running time of 112 minutes with the budget of $135 million. It made $245 million. So it did okay, but it wasn't much of a hit. It was kind of a disappointment, actually, which is why we didn't get a third one. They were definitely planning on making a third one, but they did not because of the disappointing box office. So that brings us to the time in the show where we do the box office top 10 game.
Dun, 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 dun.
You ready, fellas, to play the box office top 10 game?
Ready?
Yeah, so this is like a week after X-Men Apocalypse. So almost all the movies are the same. So I'm going to kind of jump around a little bit. We'll do a few out of the top 10 and we'll kind of skip some. Yeah. Okay. 2016.
Yeah, go as far down as you want to go. It's the game that's fun.
That's what she said.
Well, seriously, she continued.
Yeah. So, all right, let's take a look here. We've got, wow, there's some weird movies if you look down the charts. But let's see. Opening at number 67 this week. A brutal dictator comes face to face with the injustices committed by his regime when his country is taken over by revolutionists.
Manny, the Noriega story.
The Emperor's New Groove.
How the dictator got his groove back.
Imelda.
It's called The President. I've never heard of this. Wow. Oh my God. At opening also at number 64, a U.S. astronaut prepares for a mission to Mars. This stars Mark
Opening
Strong.
at 64?
Yeah, Mark
Stars
Strong
Elton John.
and Luke Wilson. I have never heard of this movie. Mark Strong.
And I
and Luke
love that it's
Wilson.
just getting prepared. I
Yeah.
hope it's 90 minutes of someone packing.
It just ends with him driving to Kennedy.
Yeah. Right as it's about to launch, it's like, well, now we're ready.
Now
Roll credits.
I have the astronaut prepares.
It's called Approaching the Unknown.
Really hanging a lot on that approaching in the title.
Yeah, they are.
Preparing, approaching.
Oh my God. Okay, so opening at number 59, in a totalitarian society of the future in which the government controls all facets of the press, a homicide detective investigates a string of bombings and finds more than he bargained for.
Ted Cruz, crime-fighting action hero.
This stars someone named Rainier Werner Fassbender.
Rainier Fassbender? Yeah.
Yeah.
I can imagine what he looks like with a
Werner
name like
Fassbender?
Rainier Werner. Oh, I'm sorry, Fassbinder.
Yeah, is he the dude that always worked with Werner Herzog?
I have no idea. I don't know. I wish his last name was Wolfcastle though. So
It might be who he's. Oh, yeah.
this is called Kamikaze 89.
89.
Let's see. Let me find some more interesting ones here. At number 40.
No, wait, sorry. That guy's not who I thought, but he's a he's a German filmmaker. One of his movies is listen to how low key he tried to make this: The Marriage of Eva Braun.
It's not at all about the other guy. It's
The
just
Marriage
about
of Eva Braun.
Eva. Who was she married to? Nobody knows.
He was a man.
He's just a simple painter.
It's just a guy.
Remember Eva?
It's just this guy, you know.
All right, sorry, Nick.
Okay, so this one, life for the residents of a tower block begins to run out of control.
Attack the Block.
No.
The high rise.
Yeah, with Hiddleston.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. That was a good movie. At number 36 this week, an inspirational true story of a group of friends from a working men's club. What the fuck's a working men's club? Who decide to take on the elite sport of kings.
Oh, Sport of Kings is horse racing, right?
Yes.
Get along, little doggies.
This shares a name with a George Harrison album.
All things must pass on the left.
Dark Horse.
Dark Horse.
Dark
Yes,
Horse,
Al.
yes.
Dark Horse.
It's a great song and album.
It would have been funny if it was called Gontrapo.
Cool runnings.
Let's see. Okay, this is one I've never heard of. Jesus Christ. Okay, this actually looks like a documentary. Okay. Oh my God. Okay, so I'm going to read this whole description.
Do it.
Over 30,000 U.S. soldiers committed suicide since 2008. Over 8,000 U.S. military veterans committed suicide in the year 2013. And 20,000 soldiers tried to commit suicide in 2013. The unseen battleground. The war of ghosts and spirits. Spiritual warfare. Mind control. Mind attack. By using ghosts and spirits, Arab, African, and other foreign cultures and traditions, God, the Bible, and science. Learn the sixth sense about how and when to protect yourself, family, and friends. Middle Eastern radical terrorists use ghosts and spirits to brainwash and recruit young Westerners. What the fuck is this?
All right, let's see.
Wow.
The Conjuring 2. Still conjuring.
Ghost Communist.
This is wow.
Ghost.
This is a crazy right-wing Christian documentary.
Well,
ISIS.
obviously.
ISIS revealed. ISIS.
Wow. It's called War Times 2.
Are you kidding me?
No.
Just times 2, huh?
Multiplication sign 2. War times 2.
Not even like War Squared? Wouldn't that have been a better?
Why 2 though? What are they talking about? It's the most consistent thing human beings have done is war. Like times 2?
Is the second
Can
war
you-
the spiritual
World War.
battle? Like,
Would you say that War Squared would have been exponentially better?
All right. Let's see. So opening at number 16. A father doesn't want his 3 daughters to get married. Now it's up to 3 men to try to convince the father that they're a good fit for his daughters.
all 3 of them? Good for
All
her.
3 of them. Oh my God. What?
War times 3.
Oh my God. This is the 3rd in a trilogy, I think.
So does she bring home 2 guys to win her over to her father every movie? I am into this.
Oh my God.
7 brides for 7 brothers.
They've made 4 of these things. This is the 3rd one.
And
Oh
she
my
never
God.
gets married at the end.
The Dowry Club.
The Runaway Bride Part 3.
Rise of the Machine.
It looks okay. It looks like this. It looks like this is the American release of the 3rd in a popular Indian trilogy.
Oh.
So it's called Houseful 3. They made 4 housefuls, apparently in each and every one. Daughters must convince their father that they can marry. Suitors must convince the father that they need to marry the daughters.
Yeah, so it's like a more fictionalized reality television?
I guess, yeah. Woo. Wow. Oh, this movie. Okay. At number, what is this? I don't think this has come up previously. Number 13, In a dystopian near future, single people, according to the laws of the city, are taken to the hotel, where they are obliged to find a romantic partner in 45 days or are transformed into beasts and sent into the woods.
Ooh, I'd take the latter. That sounds dope.
Yeah,
Turn me into a
totally.
beast.
Yeah, you get to screw all kinds of things then.
Yeah, I'll eat berries and roots and shit and
Well, the thing is, you don't get to.
animals.
And
So
just go fucking crazy.
I saw this.
Sounds
I saw
awesome.
this movie, and you don't actually get to. I don't think you get to choose what animal you are. So some of them are wildly inappropriate animals for the woods.
Wait, is this the lobster
dolphin leg.
movie?
The lobster, yes, the
lobster.
lobster.
Oh, that's what that is?
Yeah, that movie. I saw this movie. It's crazy.
Sounds
I
good.
I fell asleep during part of this movie and woke up so confused and never went back to finish it because I was so confused.
This movie's
bet.
insane. It's the weirdest. It's one of the weirdest movies I have ever seen.
I determined that no amount of information would clarify what I had just watched.
Yeah, now I'm just picturing a dolphin laying in the woods.
Yeah,
was
no,
its
it was
sin?
kind of like that. Yeah, like
Not
like
screwing a person. That's such a weird movie, dude.
it's
What?
so weird. It's so weird. Okay, so
I'd be like, I know, just change him into a baby.
Isn't the new penguin in
goal?
that? What's his name? The toll booth guy or phone booth guy?
Colin Farrell.
Colin Farrell. Yeah.
The Pharaoh.
I think I can't remember. I saw it in
He's-
2016.
I think
so
he's
don't-
the lobster.
He is.
Oh, I think he is. Yeah,
That's right. Yeah.
I'll have to
all
check
right.
it out.
So into the top 10. At number 10, we have Nice Guys, which we talked about last week. And opening at number 9. I love this movie. When it becomes clear that his solo album is a failure, a former boy band member does everything in his power to maintain his celebrity status. It's a Lonely Island movie.
Oh, Never Stop Stopping?
Yeah, Pop Star, Never Stop Stopping. It's a hilarious movie. If you haven't seen it, I recommend it. Yeah, it's Judd Apatow produced it. Let's see. At number 8, we have The Jungle Book. Number 7, Neighbors 2. Number 6 is Captain America: Civil War, still hanging in there. Number 5 is the Angry Birds movie. Number 4 is Alice Through the Looking Glass. Opening at number 3. A girl in a small town forms an unlikely bond with a recently paralyzed man she's taking care of.
Monkey Shines.
Is that the diving? But no, that's not that.
This stars Amelia Clark and who's the dude? Something Chafflin? I don't know who this guy is.
Johnny Legs.
It's called,
Good guess.
could you imagine if your name was Johnny Legs and you got paralyzed? You'd be like, the irony. No.
Finally, the irony is so apparent.
Oh,
It's called Me Before You. I don't know what that means.
The order of restroom use.
It's just alphabetical. Me comes before you.
it's only fair.
You can't spell you without me.
Number 2 is X-Men Apocalypse. And at number 1, the Turtles get into another battle with their enemy, the Shredder, who has acquired new allies, the mutant thugs Bebop and Rocksteady, and the alien being Krang. Opening at number 1, although it had a pretty big fall off after that. That is our box office top 10 for the week, which brings us to the comic and character background, Mr. Al Weber. What do we need to know about the characters who we haven't seen previously in any of these movies?
I went ahead and we had never talked about Casey Jones, really.
Really? We didn't in the...
No, in the very first one, I looked back at my notes and it was more we were talking about the franchise and the toys and the cartoon. We didn't really delve into actually either April or Casey Jones.
Huh.
But and I didn't see the notes from the previous CGI Turtles movie. I must have been winging it at that point. Recall that the Turtles comic franchise started in 1984, created by Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird, published by their independent comics company Mirage Studios. Casey Jones first appeared in the first issue of Raphael, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, a solo book for Raphael.
Wait, Raphael got his own book?
He did.
Weird.
He must have like gone off on his own because he was angry and violent or something. But he ended up back with the team. I don't know the backstory on why he got his own book, but having watched too many bad cop shows, Casey decides to become a vigilante to fight the criminals overrunning New York City. He dons a hockey mask and wields various sports clubs like baseball bats and hockey sticks.
Sports clubs.
And the Dallas Cowboys.
Pop Warner football.
Casey witnessed Raphael beating some muggers and letting them go. Casey then decides to finish the job. Raphael stops Casey before he can murder them. The two fight repeatedly.
Like a golf club? He's like brutally murdering criminals.
You look like you're crazy about murdering.
Yeah, Casey Jones was pretty intense, even more violent than Raphael. Even going after litterers with the same ferociousness as he would, say, a mugger or rapist.
Wow.
Dude's consistent.
The two fight repeatedly before making peace with each other. Later on, they would give Casey Jones an origin story where he witnessed his family being murdered by the Purple Dragon, members of the Purple Dragon
gang.
Is that a strip club downtown?
Members.
The original concept was, like I said, that Casey didn't have the old trope of watching his family die, but was just influenced by, as I said, watching too many bad cop shows. Casey, go ahead.
I was just going to say, that seems consistent with the general tone of the Turtles.
Yeah. Casey would become an ally to the Turtles and a love interest to April O'Neil.
She's like, I love the way you murder.
Yeah, I love the way you're the only other human character in this book.
In New York City.
The way he rides roller skates and beats people to death.
Yep.
It's got to do it
The
for
way
him.
he fashions his own rollerblades, apparently, ad hoc.
I have so many questions about that moment.
I expected his origin to be that he was a Mountie.
He rode his horse from Canada to New York City.
Hockey is so
Wasn't
much
that a
hockey
movie?
gear.
He rode a moose down here.
Andrea pointed out that not only does he have hockey sticks, but he had to have grabbed a bag full of pucks as well. Because he's smacking the bad guys with pucks. Just running with a sack of pucks.
Baxter Stockman, our next character, is a mad scientist in the Turtles universe, most notable for his creation of the robotic Mousers, or Mobile Offensive Underground Search, Excavation, and Retrieval Sentries.
Yeah, those were cool.
They were the little two-legged rat-looking things with the giant jaws that would attack in droves.
Why didn't they have Baxter Stockman mutate in this movie? I don't get it.
Because he was going to do it in the third movie.
Oh, okay. Well,
Then it
yes.
got canceled.
Not even Tyler Perry could save it.
Yeah.
Moving on to Krang. Created for the 1987 animated series by writer David Wise, Krang is a brain-like creature from Dimension X who typically rides around in a robot body. Krang supplied Shredder with alien technology in his quest for domination of the Earth. The character was inspired by the Utroms, a race of brain-like aliens from the original Mirage Turtles comics. Krang's first comic book appearance was in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Adventures, Volume 1, Number 1, in August of 1988, published by Archie Comics.
Oh,
Krang.
Archie. Krang is, yeah. This movie left me so torn in some ways because, I mean, let's. I'm going to be upfront. It's a terrible movie, but there were so many callbacks to the show and to the toys and like to the past of the Turtles that it was kind of charming in places with that kind of thing.
Yeah. I kind of liked seeing Krang, even though I didn't like Krang.
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah, I didn't like Krang, but it was fun seeing him because like my number one memory of watching the show, other than like pizza and the Turtles themselves, is him going, "The Turtles!"
The Turtle. Yeah. Tina Fey, I don't know. One of my favorite 30 Rock jokes is she's yelling at the writer. She's like, "Stop writing sketches with Krang in it. Nobody knows who Krang is. There is no reason to say Krang on television."
A note about the Turtles Adventures comic book. It was initially a close adaptation of storylines from the cartoon, issues 1 through 4, but it would diverge from the series by issue 5, and they kind of went off. It was non-canon in the Turtles comic universe, but it was considered to have deeper and more serious storylines than the cartoon upon which it was initially based.
I mean,
Krang,
I would have put. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Krang, in later shows, they would go on to say that Krang was not a single person or single creature, but the Krang were like the collective of those
Like
brain-like
board.
creatures.
Okay, because yeah, I have a lot of questions about Krang from this movie specifically.
I would have happily dealt with a third one if we had gotten to see a lot of the really fringe and weirdo mutants. I remember Mondo Gecko. He was one of my favorites. That's a great 80s name. 90s name.
Oh yeah, it was in the Turtles Adventures comic that they started doing that a lot more with introducing mutated anthropomorphic animals, such as Osage Yojimbo.
Right. Yeah, they started re-releasing a lot of those action figures. Some company, kid company.
And finally, Bebop and Rocksteady, mutant warthog and rhinoceros henchmen of the Shredder. The characters were designed by Peter Laird while negotiating the Turtles action figure deal with Playmate Toys. They were added into the 1987 cartoon series, given names, personalities, and origin story by David Weiss. So Peter Laird and David Weiss share creation credit for these two characters. Like Krang, they too had their first comic appearance. Their first comic appearance in the first issue of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Adventures in August of 1988.
All right. Well, thank you, Al, for the comic background. The Turtles are somewhat unique in these superhero movies in that their origin is as tied up with toys and the cartoon as it is with the comics. Like the cartoon and the toys influence the comic as much as the comic influenced the toys and cartoon, which is unusual. Usually, the comics influence the toys a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I think of the Masters of the Universe, but I can't really think of many more examples.
Yeah, well, G.I. Joe, Masters of the Universe, Transformers, Thundercats, but all of those aren't comic based. This had its comic origin, whereas all of those were cartoon and toy based, and then got comics afterwards.
Yeah.
But This one, one thing which I thought I mentioned is that the garbage truck, which shot the manhole covers,
Yeah.
that's a direct homage to a toy from the late
Oh,
80s
yeah.
that came
Oh
out.
yeah.
That's specifically that. So
But it was a van. So it's kind of cool that it was a garbage truck.
mm,
At least the
Yeah,
toy
yeah.
was a van. It was not
yeah,
a garbage
I think it was a van in the cartoon too.
Yeah.
truck. I think so too.
Well,
Yeah.
because we got a shot of it at the end of the first movie,
Mm.
or at least some
Yeah,
approximation of the van.
yeah, but it's shooting the manhole covers because
Yep.
it came with little plastic manhole covers which you could shoot out of it.
My buddy had that toy. Remember that?
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to mention, this is a tangent, but I don't know where else I would ever mention this on air. There's some dude on Reddit who is making all of the different pizzas from the cartoon and eating them to see what they taste like. So far he's gone, there's 64 different flavors of pizza that were mentioned in the original cartoon from the 80s. He's made 46 of the 64 so far, including licorice and granola, chocolate fudge and extra garlic, peanut butter and clams, marshmallow and asparagus, tea and toast. Let's see, pepperoni and pizzas, jelly beans and sausage, coconut and sweet pickles, guacamole and marshmallow, popcorn, anchovies and bananas, goulash, chocolate fudge, sardines, chili peppers, and whipped cream.
Is that one pizza?
No, those are all different
okay.
pizzas. Those are all different pizzas that he's been making. Tuna, peanut butter, and grape jelly. Pepperoni, peanut butter, and yogurt.
Well, I guess somebody had to do it.
Yeah.
And these were all from the show, right? From the cartoon.
These are
Yeah,
all
cartoon.
pizzas that were specifically mentioned in the cartoon. Yeah.
Michelangelo was always.
Yeah, ordering the
Hi.
pizza. Mhm. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I didn't know where else I would ever mention that on air, but I thought it was funny when we were talking about the turtles. So,
The craziest, I don't know if it's the craziest, but back in high school, trip down to Mexico, we had a pizza that was like bananas, pineapple, and maraschino cherries.
with like cheese and marinara sauce.
Yeah. And I remember it actually kind of working,
Huh.
but that's not as out there as peanut butter and tuna.
No, peanut butter and tuna is something which I hope to never experience.
Cocaine and waffles.
There you go. Well, I mean, cocaine goes with everything, so it's like wearing black. All right, so that brings us to the production of the. I just watching Brian.
What?
The cocaine, yeah. You don't
Cocaine
tie
is
any
you
outfit
wearing
together.
black.
Yeah, it's the drug equivalent of the little black dress.
I saw a funny tweet. This is like how to convince your friends your IBS is a cool cocaine habit.
Okay, so for the film itself, this movie was directed by Dave Green. Dave Green, he started out as a music video director, as so many of these guys seem to do. He directed 2 movies. Earth to Echo, which is about like a cute alien kid. It's like a kid's movie. And this movie, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, he's apparently involved in the production of a Looney Tunes movie called Coyote versus Acme, which is being produced by James Gunn.
Yeah, I've heard about this.
That's coming out in a couple of years. We'll see. Yeah, he doesn't have much in the way of credits outside of this one. This is written by Josh Applebaum and Andre Nemec. Josh Applebaum. Let's see. He wrote the first Mutant Ninja Turtles movie, the 2014 one. In addition, so we talked about him before. In addition to like Mission Impossible, Ghost Protocol, He's currently
Ghost
working on
Road.
Beverly. He's currently
Or-
working on Beverly Hills Cop 4. Yeah.
War times 2.
Yeah. More time.
What is it good for?
Andre Nemec is his partner. They do all the writing together. They're a team. So not much to say about them. Michael Bay was back producing. You can tell by everything on screen.
By all of it, yeah.
Yeah. On our cast, we've got Pete Plosek back as Leonardo. He took over from Johnny Knoxville, who did not return. Pete.
The movie's stronger for it, honestly.
Yeah, it really is.
Well, the dude's voice must change a lot.
He's the dude that played.
Punched and hit.
Yeah.
The nuts.
Michelangelo's changed a lot. He let's see. Pete Plotzik played Teen Wolf on the MTV series. That's his main claim to fame. He's done. Let's see. Oh, he was in Captain Marvel. Huh. Well, same again there. He plays Brett Johnson. I don't remember who that is.
Hey, probably another pilot. I think it's the guy who's like telling him, "Oh, it's a cockpit." He's that guy.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyways,
Yeah.
he delivers that joke in Captain Marvel.
Okay.
They call it a cockpit for a reason.
Yes.
Okay.
She flips her hair and walks away.
You're a girl.
Alan Richson as Raphael. He played Raphael in the first one. We've talked about him before. Jeremy Howard as Donatello. He is also back from the first one. Noel Fisher as Michelangelo. He was also in the first one of these things. Additionally, let's see, we've got Tony Shalhoub back as Splinter. Greg Anthony Williams as Bebop. Greg Anthony Williams, let's see, his career goes way back. He was in Radioland Murders, End of Days, Undercover Brother, Soul Plane, Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle. He's like a kind of like a classic like comedy like character actor dude.
Mm-hmm.
He's been in a million things. You may know him best from Scooby-Doo and the Spooky Scarecrow.
Oh, yeah.
In which he played Mayor Husk. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, you made that for Corn Week.
He did. Corn Week's back. Stephen Fairley as Rocksteady. Stephen Fairley, he's a wrestler known as Sheamus.
I was gonna say he got his one name credit in this.
Yeah, known as that's what he's mostly known for is being a wrestler. He's Irish. He worked in the WWE for many years as Sheamus. His film credits, in addition to this, include The Escapist, Scooby-Doo, and the WWE Curse of the Speed Demon.
Some do bros.
And the Jetsons in WWE Robo WrestleMania.
What? Those are things?
I didn't know that second one was. I know Scooby's.
I had no idea that existed. That came out in 2017. Wow. Yeah. Brad Garrett did the voice of Krang. Brad Garrett, who is probably best known.
Robert Barone. On
Yeah.
Everybody Loves Raymond.
Yeah, exactly. From Everybody Loves Raymond.
The lesser loved brother.
Yes.
Yeah, Ray's
Yes.
brother.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, it's his line actually.
Yeah.
That the show is. Everybody Loves Raymond. He was in Fargo season 3. I don't know. He was really good.
Yeah, he goes back. I mean, his career spans decades. His first, he got his breakout in 1983 on Star Search when he did a stand-up.
Mm-hmm.
He did voices in the original Transformers cartoon, Real Ghostbusters. He did a lot of like sitcom stuff. He was in Roseanne for a couple episodes.
He's got a great voice. I didn't know this was him. I saw it on the credits, but I didn't recognize him.
Yeah.
He's he's a character actor going way back. The brother from Raymond is what most people will know.
I saw a note that Fred Armisen was originally slated to voice Krang.
Fun.
That would have been fun.
Had
Wow.
to back out. It would have been kind of cool.
Doing a Krang voice, it probably would have been about it. I don't know.
Turtles.
Yeah.
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 Stephen Arnell is Casey Jones. He's best known as the Green Arrow, Oliver Queen from Green Arrow.
Oh,
Say Arnell.
Arnell,
that's what it is.
isn't it?
Arnold.
Yeah.
Arnold.
Stephen Arnell. Oh, Arnell. I don't know.
No, Amell.
Oh, it's MM, not RN. Sorry. Yeah. Stephen Amell,
Oh,
whatever.
I see.
Yeah.
He
Sorry.
looked familiar.
Sorry, Steve, if you're listening. He's currently on the Stars drama Heels. He was a wrestler himself. He did some wrestling in Raw, though apparently he wasn't super successful in the WWE. He doesn't
Weird.
he doesn't have a ton of credits outside of Arrow and this. I mean, he did a bunch of TV stuff, but all bit parts on shows, CSI kind of stuff, Private Practice, that kind of thing. Let's see. Will Arnett is back as Vern. Laura Linney, slumming it.
Yeah.
As Police Chief Rebecca Vincent. What the hell is Laura Linney doing here? My God. Laura Linney's, has a long and illustrious career from the late 80s. Have we talked about her on this show before? I feel like we have, but I can't.
I feel like
find
we
anything
have.
specifically.
We're about to. She's in the Truman Show.
She is, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll be talking about her next month. But yeah, she's a character actress for years. Oh God, what is she best known for? She's currently in Ozark. She's well known for the Truman Show. Oh, Primal Fear. Mystic River, Love Actually. She was good in The Squid and the Whale. So yeah, it's weird that she's in here.
Well, the character's so annoying and aggravating.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I mean, it's the character barely exists as a character.
No, I know, but she's incredulous at times, and other times, I'm getting too old for this rhino shit.
Yeah. Taking over from Tohiro Masamune, you got Brian T. as Shredder. Brian T. He's best known as the Drift King from the Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift.
Best known.
We saw him in The Wolverine. He was the Wolverine. He was the
soldier. The Silver Samurai. No.
Was
the
he
old guy who's dying.
He was the dad. Yeah, I think he was the dad. I don't know.
I think he was one of the lead henchmen.
He's pretty young, yeah.
Yeah, he's also in Jurassic World. So, all right, we've talked about him before. Let's see. Tyler Perry as Dr. Baxter Stockman. I can't believe we've gone this far and we've never had Tyler Perry before, right?
No, we have. I think
Have
in a
we?
monthly movie. I swear we talked about him.
We've talked about he's come up in the box office top 10 a number of times, but I don't think he's ever been in a movie we've done.
He's been in a Star Trek franchise. Was he in a Star Wars franchise?
No, he was in the 2009 Trek. I don't really want to go off on a Tyler Perry tangent because that could take hours because the man is fascinating as a pop culture figure.
Yeah. And so he takes things like this because he's into it, right? I mean, that's the only thing you can surmise is that, he was a Turtles fan or he was a Star Trek fan.
Well, and it was probably a 2-movie deal initially.
It was.
The promise of a future movie,
Absolutely, yeah. He was supposed to be back for a third one, but they canceled it due to it not doing well.
He seems like he was having fun at every single moment he was on screen.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I mean. He's not a dude that needs a paycheck or needs to have his face. So, I mean, there have been a grip of Medea movies since this movie.
Yeah.
Well, God, yes. So I just real fast. I mean, I'm not going to go off on a big tangent, but he got his start doing a one-man show in the late '90s. Medea was one of the characters he played in that show, and the way he got going was that he people would videotape his shows, or he would videotape his shows, and they would bootleg these shows, and they would literally pass them out in African American churches in the South, like pass these videos around, copy them, and that's how he started getting a following, which led to him getting a he then started, obviously he would do some bit work in movies as like third henchman here or there, but then he got a movie deal to make let's see, what was it? It was Diary of a Mad Black Woman, which was the first Medea movie. From the popularity of these one-man stage shows he was doing that were like passed around on bootleg videotapes.
He has an empire now. It's a legit, because he early on was shrewd enough to be, make it his production company, and everybody works with his company rather than, very interesting artist. He was in Don't Look Up recently, the Adam McKay movie, and he was just spot on perfect.
Yeah, that was awesome. But yeah, he's a fascinating figure, and he deserves his own episode of a show, which this is not. But maybe someday we'll talk about him at more length. But let's see. We additionally, oh, by the way, this character was in the first film, portrayed by K. Todd Freeman. He barely existed in the first movie as a character. Brittany Ishibashi is Karai. She took over the role from Mine Noji, who did it in the first film. A lot of recasting. Brittany,
she was in Runaways, wasn't she?
She was, yeah.
She's the mom in Runaways.
Yeah, she was in Runaways, Political Animals, Supernatural. She works a lot. Her first credit is she played Advisee in Felicity in 1999.
Oh wow.
So let's see. Originally, by the way, I almost forgot to mention, we did get Kevin Eastman played the pizza guy in a cameo, and they call him Kevin in this. Originally this movie was going to be called Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Half Shell.
I'm glad it's not.
Yeah. Heroes in a half shell, maybe, but just half shell.
Yeah, why half shell?
Right. But they definitely changed course in tone for this movie, but I feel like not enough.
I watched an interview with the writers and director and producers with the cast, some morning television interview, and that was what they said. They were like, we wanted to change the tone completely from the fact that the Foot Gang doesn't have guns, now they have swords, to invoking the toys and the cartoons. I was like, oh, well, that makes a lot more sense. Yeah. I watched that before we started talking about this.
Well, and it was like 50% there because it's 50% like a fun, cheesy callback to the original Turtles. But then it's also 50% like this like serious Michael Bay action bullshit. So it like, I had a lot of whiplash from the inconsistencies in tone.
Oh,
I feel like it's married to the first one too much.
Yeah.
Like it should have been a complete reboot, but some of the actors are great in this.
Megan Fox is not one of them.
Yeah.
Well, oh my God.
Yeah. I feel
one of
like
my favorites.
I think that there's a serious Anakin in the prequels thing going on with Megan Fox in this movie.
Oh my God, she is phoning it in hardcore. Every role she was like, or every line was just delivered like straight ahead. Like, I believe that I am entitled to a phone call.
Yep.
All right, that's the production. This movie has 38% on Rotten Tomatoes. Turtles in Time is ranked lower, or it does have a lower percentage than this one. But it's the
It's too
only
bad.
Turtles movie with lower percentage. Yeah. That's about it, guys. You ready to jump into the movie itself?
I already packed my Speedo.
Cowabunga?
All right, here we go, guys. This
Squirrel
is
formation.
Squirrel formation. This is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows. We open on New York City. The Turtles are cavorting across the city rooftops. They head to Madison Square Garden, where
They're at the top of the Empire State Building.
Yeah, that's where they start, right?
Yeah, so let's just keep that in mind.
Yeah.
How high up that is.
Yeah, I have questions. About
No, and mine aren't even about them jumping and rappelling. That's fine. I can suspend that disbelief. But when they're afraid of heights and not is
yes, that
convenient.
gets confusing. That gets confusing. I also, like, for the first time in my entire life, which this isn't necessarily a question about the movie itself, but about the turtles in general, have questions about their speed, agility, and strength.
Yes.
Because, like, Spider-Man has the proportional speed, agility, and strength of a spider.
Right.
Do they have the
These things
proportional speed, strength, and agility of turtles?
No, they're almost a ton each, right? Like, I understand how they dive down into a manhole cover, but how do they propel themselves back up out of water?
What are their superpowers? Because as far as I can tell, they're just anthropomorphic turtles that learned kung fu from a book, according to this series. Like, where do they get the ability to spring and jump and flip from building to building?
So I know it doesn't make much of a difference, but I think they started out on the Chrysler Building, which they went back to later. But when it doesn't make much difference height wise because it's still really tall. But they did land on one of those famous like eagle statues when they all collapsed on top of one another.
So
they're big on the Chrysler Building.
They mention it later, yes.
I guess to answer your question, Throw, the ooze, it does whatever it needs to do to their bodies.
I guess, yeah. I guess.
They didn't get bit by a radioactive turtle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so many
Or
things
if they were turtles to begin with, they didn't get bit by a radioactive human.
So wait. They would be turtles with the proportional speed, strength, and agility of a human. Yeah, I guess the ooze does everything it does. It's funny that they still called it ooze, considering the rest of this movie was filled with actual scientific sounding gobbledygook.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Yeah.
Are they gonna call it like substrate or something? I don't know. Like
mutagen.
Yeah. Well,
and
yeah.
now Donatello, I guess, steals technology because nothing was hobbled together. This was all fucking Bruce Wayne level.
Where was he getting this tech? Like,
yeah, it wasn't like Professor from Gilligan's Island. Like in the past, Donatello has had to. He's had to make do with what was found in the sewers and such.
Yeah,
and it's so much more advanced than what the humans have.
So even if April's helping him,
yeah,
they're stealing some shit.
Yeah, they are. Yeah. So Jude apparently, he's been taking chemistry and physics classes in school, and so he's recently learned about isotopes. So the fact that they kept talking about isotopes drove him insane because he's recently learned what they actually do. So he's like, this makes no sense. I was like, I know, Jude, but does the purple ooze make sense? The isotopes are the problem, not the purple ooze.
That is just ooze. Everything else, space-time continuum.
All right, so they head to Madison Square Garden, where Vern is being honored at a Knicks game, which is lucky for us because we get a whole lot of backstory in case you didn't see the first movie.
Right. And just I know that Will Arnett's in the crowd, but it's just funny, like being at an NBA game and then right in the middle, they're just like, all right, the Knicks, and don't forget 9/11.
Right? Our
Just
most
like-
recent 9/11 type thing that happened.
Right. Let's have a retrospective here. Bring the mood up.
Oh god, yeah.
They're
so,
like when a shadow fell over the city, also known as the Chicago Bulls.
could you could you imagine if a dude named the Shredder tried to destroy your
Yes.
city with a gas? Like,
And his sidekick, the cheese grater.
so all right, yeah. The main point though is that we learned that he took credit for the events of the last movie in order to keep the turtles secret. Meanwhile, April O'Neil is undercover investigating a famous scientist, Baxter Stockman, who she suspects is working the Shredder. She hacks his iPad with her Apple Watch that Donatello made her. The turtles head home.
This is Tony Stark Batman level technology.
Yes, it is, and it's so sleek and like holographic and like.
Uh-huh.
Did they call? I just have a question. Did Krang call his machine that he sent in the past, which I have many questions about all of this, but
The
did he call it
Technodrome?
I swear he called the thing he sent before there was the Technodrome, but the thing he
Oh.
sent prior to the Technodrome in order to open the portal, which
Yeah, the
apparently,
MacGuffin.
yeah, did he call that an arc reactor?
No.
I swear he said those words.
Arc
What did he-
capacitor.
Arc capacitor. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Very, very different from an arc reactor. It capacitates arcs rather than reacting to them. So all right.
Well, it has no problem in this movie then. No arcs to be found.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Did we just walk right through the element of
Of
spycraft and costume
Yeah.
change?
her
That we're there
schoolgirl
because
outfit change. She stole a
what's
dress.
happening in Penn Station?
Right.
Okay,
What
so
is
that's where
this?
they are. At first, upstairs, you think maybe they're at some sort of event or museum. Then you get down, and it's clearly Penn Station. But there are all these weird field trips. It's the middle of the night, and apparently it's Halloween.
What is happening?
So what is happening? So they don't let you know it's Halloween until after this. So there's a cowboy, there's a dude in a king tut. It almost looks like Night at the Smithsonian, and then a bunch of Catholic schoolgirls
Taking pictures
almost
with random
drunkenly
people.
grabbing passersby for pictures.
Were
And
those
in front of
April
Grauman's
O'Neil,
theater.
she planned her whole ruse around running into these girls. Like, were they doing enough recon for her to know
And
that if you blend
There's
in
a-
with this group of
there's a-
sexy
no,
schoolgirls?
There's a stall
she-
selling Catholic schoolgirl skirts. That's where she got one
the
from.
whole outfit, was she not dressed already okay for
Well, because
whatever she was gonna do?
she had already talked to that guy, so she had to change her
Yeah, the
outfit.
food- yeah, I couldn't just take
to
the wig
get-
off.
Yeah, it was.
She's a reporter.
No, she's not. She's a simple Catholic schoolgirl.
This is
In
worse
the
than Transformers.
basement.
The shot of her on the
With
hood of the
the-
car, because she's
mean,
doing something in that. And this, it's like Rube Goldberg of let's get Megan Fox into a schoolgirl outfit.
Yeah, somebody
Yeah.
dosed the city with acid. Not that New York is a sensical place, but yeah, what is happening in that train station?
I mean, my God, yeah, that was
They-
ridiculous.
Did they make it Halloween so they could get her into a schoolgirl outfit?
So they could get Mikey up on the street.
Well,
For
that
30
that too was that the second purpose of this, because the first purpose, it's clear they wrote this entire sequence to get her into a schoolgirl dress. This was not like this didn't need to happen for the plot to
I
continue.
would also point out that is a Dia de los Muertos parade, not a Halloween parade, and Dia de los
Yeah.
Muertos is not October 31st.
No,
I will.
and
I will
there
say.
were
I will
carnival
give,
dancers in the parade, even.
and I'll give them that one. I'll give them that one. It's interesting. It's New York City.
Right.
That was my read as somebody who's not from New York. I've never been. I assume that things like that happen, and they call it a Halloween parade. I'll buy it.
Sure, I did Google
Being
it
from
afterwards,
Tucson, I did
and-
think like
and-
Dia de
and-
los Muertos. But
No. I did Google it. New York does have an annual Dia de los Muertos parade. It's mostly the Puerto Rican community mostly revolves around it, but or it revolves around the Puerto Rican community mostly. But yeah, whatever.
it's the night after
I never-
Halloween, though, probably.
I didn't live in New York City, but I lived in Chicago, and it was the same kind of thing. Like there was a whole Puerto Rican neighborhood. Naturally, there was a Swedish one, a Polish one, but yeah, they would have their own parades for their own.
That's
holidays.
Was there? Did Chicago have a big summer festival?
Yeah,
season?
there's a it's Taste of Chicago or something. But there was literally when the weather was nice, there was a festival in some neighborhood almost every weekend.
That's the same with Milwaukee,
Boystown, the gay, the LGBT neighborhood.
Yeah,
constant, awesome parties and street fairs and stuff.
It was this. I was just wondering because Milwaukee is an hour from Chicago, and it was kind of the same there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So
speaking of the parade, the Transformer costume was pretty awesome.
It was the Michael Bay reference there
with the full sound of the transformation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
there was a cool little tidbit added to that.
Yeah. So
very on the nose.
April finds out Baxter's planning to break Shredder out of custody during a prison transfer, and she tells the Turtles about it. One of my unanswered questions. Baxter's sending emails about breaking Shredder out of prison. Who is he emailing?
Oh
is he
my
emailing
God!
The Foot Clan? Is a Foot Clan member checking his Gmail?
No, so are we to believe that for a whole year Shredder has been in county holding or something? I would have put the dude right into Rikers. You can do that with 31 counts of first-degree murder. You can go ahead and take the dude right to prison while his trial's happening.
It's like Osama bin Laden.
Yes.
Why is he being transferred with two other random street dudes who?
Yeah. Why are you taking that guy? He's not in protective custody.
Who don't have weapons on them? They have to load the weapon, the one weapon they have. What the fuck is this?
Yeah.
Was he in the hospital? Because wasn't he like largely crushed in the first movie? He dipped his hand in some mutagen. Yeah, Shredder. He was like a building fell on him.
No.
Yeah.
Shredder was shredded.
They got an infirmary at Rikers.
But yeah, all right. So the prisoner transfer begins. Shredder's in an armored vehicle along with two petty crooks named Bebop and Rocksteady. He's being escorted by a driver and an additional cop who does not have a loaded weapon on him, named Casey Jones.
He brought a hockey stick and some pucks in his pocket. Don't worry.
So
in case a pickup street hockey game happened or crime fighting.
Yeah.
He's going to go play on top of a liquor store later.
Game on.
So after reading these hacked emails from Baxter, who is he emailing about breaking Shredder out?
Also, he's taking notes on a criminal conspiracy.
Right, I was going to say. About the crime that we're doing.
By email. Like, what is happening? And she's like, I got his emails. Oh, they're disappearing. But what I read before they disappeared, and like that's essentially her delivery.
Yeah.
They're disappearing.
Well, and they conveniently show us on the screen, hack in progress. Look at folders. It felt like hackers like level of like, why are they showing us this?
Also, her little watch said connected by Bluetooth. She connected by Bluetooth.
Well, and my favorite detail on this whole ruse was the little face at the end, the little turtle face.
That's right.
That's what I mean. His tech is so.
All right, so
they're all Catholic schoolgirl detected.
They get there in time to find the Foot Clan trying to break Shredder out of the vehicle. The Turtles do. They drive up in their trash car. Casey Jones tries to stop the jailbreak too, but between him and the Turtles, they nearly foil the plan. But at the last minute, Baxter breaks out this found technology teleporter and teleports Shredder away.
And they use a helicopter and magnet to get him out, but let's have a prologue of all this motorcycle gang, but I would have just gone right to helicopter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you have teleportation technology.
Well,
Just,
there's that too.
just use the teleporter. Why don't you figure that out? You figured it out mid fucking heist and decided to use it? Or was that the plan all along? If that
So,
was the plan all along, why not just teleport it?
This is
Teleport
kind
in and then teleport out. Build two
Yeah.
teleporters. I don't
So-
understand.
the teleport thing. So this is kind of the same thing as in the first movie. Their technology is so advanced compared to the rest of the world. They don't need to have an additional plan. Just use that technology you have, and you will be super
fight
rich
there.
and famous, like Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk level.
Yeah,
Right.
you could literally make a fortune just teleporting water or gas or pencils from place to place, bags of rice. I don't know.
Just
Just
owning
owning
the
the
patents on the teleporter. That's
Yeah.
exactly. That's all you have to do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
who needs to teleport a super criminal when you could just teleport anything? Anyways,
Yeah.
teleporting
And then we-
sand from one country to another. Boom.
But we get some Krang-splaining. The three MacGuffins, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So he transports Shredder away. In the chaos, the vehicle crashes, and Bebop and Rocksteady also escape. Shredder's teleported to an alternate dimension where he meets Commander Krang, an alien military man, apparently.
Yeah, he has a rank, and not the
He's
highest.
commander. Yes. He's a giant brain in a robot body
Who's immediately a dick.
and
Right off the
speaks
bat.
English.
Hmm.
But he just starts slapping Shredder with his slimy tentacle
Yeah,
for no good reason.
yeah. It was intense because they had just made Shredder so, they reminded you how centered and evil and calm and deviant, and then slap with the fucking octopus tentacle. Just took all of his agency right away from
Yeah. So
fuck that
apparently,
guy.
apparently years ago, Krang sent his arc capacitor through a portal. He sent it through a portal
Mm-hmm. Yep.
to Earth, and it broke up in the Earth's atmosphere. This thing which makes portals, he sent through a portal.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
How?
Yep.
Everything Krang does makes no sense because you could. He has a technodrome. He obviously has a budget. Why doesn't he just make another arc capacitor in his own dimension, send it through another portal, which he can apparently do at any time, and not have it go into Earth's atmosphere, come out a little ways away from Earth, and then just take over Earth from there? Why does he have to go through all of this? Why does he know? He only has one arc capacitor, then his entire fucking dimension's military?
Maybe he forgot. He's like, oh,
He made the
forgot
mistake
about
of sending the prototype.
Make another one.
he does it freehand every time. It's improvising. He doesn't take notes.
Does
He's
he
a-
make it himself? He's a commander in the military. What is the government he's a commander for? What military is he representing that's going to come through and take over Earth?
What's their tax policy like? How can they afford this large of a project?
But they can't afford to make another arc capacitor.
They spent their budget on Social Security. They have a much smaller
That's it.
military budget.
Right.
It was
Gotta
it was
continue
all
to
it was
keep
providing
liquid.
all of their citizens with health care.
They're very liberal in
That's how the
Dimension
brains
X.
got the robot bodies, because of socialized medicine.
Socialized medicine. They're free in Canada, Casey says.
The robot, you get a free robot body for your brain in Canada.
For your abdomen talking brain.
So all right. Anyways, so
Yeah, he looks like one of those really bad medication commercials where they anthropomorphize the disease. They're like, "Do you have irritable bowel syndrome?" He's like, "Try Humira."
He was like a burst appendix more than he was a brain.
yeah.
Does it feel like your big toenail is being lifted like a car hood?
Ah, worst commercial ever.
So can we talk about his character design? Because in the cartoon, he was behind glass, right?
He was like in a tube, like a box.
He was like the head of
Yeah.
Nixon in
Yeah.
a thing.
Right. It was, his atmosphere or what happened.
He doesn't need the body to stay alive.
No. In fact, he's like, push me back in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a weird bit of attempted comedy to
Yeah.
have the robot stupidly punching him back into his
Yeah.
abdomen.
That was weird. That was weird. Yeah.
Because I can buy him living outside of the body with the tentacle things attached to him, because he was still attached, like old Palpatine and Rise of Skywalker. But yeah, I was like,
Palpatine.
I can buy that, but there were a lot of choices that were a result of that just made me question the design the entire time.
Yeah. Oh my God. Everything with Krang just drove me insane. None of
Yeah.
it made any sense. Nothing made any sense.
He was just sassy. He didn't speak through the robot.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
it's just
Exactly.
like,
And also, what's a drome, Al? Do you know? Is a drome a thing? Or
like a
is it just-
velodrome. A velodrome is where you ride a bicycle.
so a drome is like a dome, but
And
Yes.
drome.
There's a hippodrome.
Okay.
If memory serves.
And
Is
this,
that where they keep the hippopotamuses?
and this particular drome is a technodrome. So
Yeah.
I feel there should have been a lot more like EDM and like ravers.
It's lots of ecstasy.
Hippodrome, theater or other performance venue in ancient Greece or Rome. It was a course for chariot or horse races.
And this is the technodrome, where techno. There's a chariot for techno.
They have techno races. Who can play music at the fastest tempo?
Right. All right. So, anyways, so Shredder makes a deal. You can take over Earth if you help me defeat the turtles. That seems like a bad deal, because by taking over the Earth, defeating the turtles would be part of taking over the Earth, I would assume, in the first place.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Well, and what is he gonna get
nothing.
in return?
Shredder gets nothing.
Yeah.
The only deal was help me get rid of the turtles, and I'll help you take over Earth. That was the entire deal.
Didn't he insinuate that Shredder would be, like partially in command somewhere at all?
I watched that scene twice carefully. He
Okay.
never once. He's like, do this and help me take over Earth. And he's like, I'll do that if you help me get rid of the turtles.
Yeah, that
That's
was
not
all.
a good deal, Shredder.
Yeah.
No, because one takes care of the other.
Exactly. Oh my God. So anyways, yeah, he agrees to do that, and he gives him a vial of purple ooze, which he says will help him take care of the turtles.
Why didn't he take it himself in that moment? Like, oh, this will help me take care of the turtles. I'm gonna drink this right now.
And Grant's
Yeah.
like, no,
No.
that's too much. You're gonna trip out, man.
Right? Like, if a brain robot alien gives you a thing and says you will use this to fight your enemy, you should take it and not
Right.
give it to your dingbats.
The two dumbest dudes you just met.
Yeah. Also,
exactly.
this made me question, did Shredder take the original ooze also? Is that why he is still young
Oh.
and like strong enough to fight the Ninja Turtles? I was always under the impression that he did. I just never put two and two together.
I don't know.
He's a real ooze hound, man.
So, yeah. So, okay, but the point is, the arc capacitor broke into three parts. One of them Baxter has, that's his teleportation thing. One's in a museum in New York, lucky, and the other one is in the Brazilian rainforest. Shredder agrees to help Krang. Krang gives Shredder the ooze and then sends him back to Earth. Meanwhile, the turtles figure out that Shredder used a teleporter, because he teleported. April suspects that Baxter's behind it and decides to infiltrate his lab to spy on him. Meanwhile, Casey Jones meets Chief of Police Rebecca Vincent, who takes over the case. He gets blamed for the escape and is put on unpaid leave, which is the most unrealistic part of this entire movie, that a cop would ever be put on unpaid leave.
Yeah.
And for what?
He is a lowly corrections officer.
Okay.
Yeah, man of the people.
So he's not a real cop even.
No, yeah,
He's gonna
He-
grow up to be a detective.
he aspires to be a detective. Yes.
Why did this universe's Osama bin Laden have such shitty security on his prison transfer?
Because
Yeah.
police budgets are too low, man. We need to dump more money into police budgets in places.
You gotta
like
just
New York.
you gotta take your deadliest criminals and just move them around. Just drive them all around.
Drive them all over town. They'll appreciate getting out into the fresh air.
Well, and they didn't even give us the like classic shell game thing where they're like, we're going to send out 3 trucks. That's why they're thin.
Yeah, like nothing.
This movie spent millions of dollars on so many shots, except for the first one.
And they didn't have a single underground plastic cell like the MCU had so many.
Yes, not a single one. So, all right. Casey Jones decides he's going to track down Bebop and Rocksteady all on his own. The two of them, meanwhile, are at their favorite bar where they get burner phones from Liz Lemon's ex.
Dennis
what's his
Duffy,
face?
the beeper
Yes.
king.
Yeah.
He's selling these old
Yeah.
school flip phones, and he's the beeper king.
Yeah, exactly.
And what's funny is he's
Dean
also
Winters.
the subway.
Dean-
Dean Winters. He's also the subway hero in an episode, which is essentially Vern's character in this. Like,
Oh, yeah.
did one sort of like, yeah, and then just is a celebrity living off his helped a guy in a subway station fame.
So, yeah,
He's
Shredder
like,
shows up.
This is the Stanley Cup. It and I are fighting illiteracy.
Shredder shows up, recruits them to join his gang. Meanwhile, the turtles are hanging out, waiting for nightfall because they can't go out in the daylight due to being vampires or their appearance. They certainly couldn't travel during the day in the sewers or on the rooftops. Splinter gives Leonardo some advice on being a leader. Casey Jones shows up at the bar and smashes the place up until the bartender agrees to give him a GPS tracker, which is clearly a screen put onto some sort of walkie-talkie.
Yeah. He's all, you can track him with this. Yeah. you can
Although
track
it's
anything with this.
2016, you could just track them with an app in 2016. You don't
Which
need
was a
like a
GPS.
walkie-talkie device.
No.
This
Or to explain it to anyone.
this criminal enterprise is terrible too. I'm selling you anonymous phones
Which I'm
that
tracking
I am tracking. Like,
by GPS. And also Casey Jones wasn't threatening to like kill him or anything. He wasn't beating him up. He was just smashing his bar up and he gives it up so fast.
Right?
This
also,
criminal bartender doesn't
With
have
all-
a gun back
Yes.
behind the bar.
why? Yeah, why would you be letting this happen? Like, well, I got
And
insurance. It's
I'm
fine.
like, I'm sorry, you're a suspended corrections officer?
Right.
Get the fuck off my property.
What are you fucking
Get the fuck out of here.
like you're smashing glasses. I'm gonna jump over this bar and beat the fuck out of you.
Get
Well,
your
and this is-
cosplay ass out of my bar.
This is the first criminal bar without criminals inside it to like
Yeah, I know.
protect it. And criminal bar is such like a weird generalization, but that's we see those in movies where
Movie
the
trope.
guy, the hero starts a scene and a bunch of bad guys show up.
Yeah, no, it's
Like-
a proper, yeah, because it's in their file even.
Yeah,
Criminal bar.
that's where you can find them. That's the address they leave for business.
Criminal bar.
Yeah, criminal bar on the corner of larceny and
Uh,
murder. I don't know. Why? Why are there no people in this bar? What the fuck?
Why is this bar? Yeah. Oh, this is so terrible. Though we do get a Vanilla Ice reference at least. Back in Baxter's lab, Shredder tells Baxter about the portal, gives him the purple ooze, which he immediately puts into a dart gun. Because that's what scientists do. They take unknown substances and put them in dart guns.
Yeah, immediately, dude.
They turn.
That's
Bebop-
Ooze Science 101.
Yeah.
Yeah, the ooze was like a physical object at first, right? That had to be.
It was in a vial.
synthesized?
It was in a vial.
synthesized. Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was the purple ooze that was in a vial. The ooze
And
from the
went through the
previous movie was
science
green ooze.
poses. Yeah.
The previous ooze was green. This ooze is purple.
Yeah.
So it's obviously from another dimension.
And this, I don't know, but how anachronistic. So every time there's a new movie, these guys are teenagers, right? And their timeline starts over, right? right?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so these turtles were born around 2000, maybe. But
Yeah.
it's like what even still in 2016, they're making jokes about the movie Scarface in movies for kids. And I'm not talking inappropriate. I'm saying who the fuck you know? Like
What?
imagine
Yeah.
being 11 and watching it's like say hello to my little friend like again and again and again.
This is a Nickelodeon movie. Yes,
Yeah.
it was
I wonder-
ostensibly made for 11-year-olds, but we get Megan Fox in a schoolgirl outfit and Scarface
Like
references.
that. But yeah, it's like after our generation, I wonder how many kids went and watched Scarface just to get the references every time it's brought up
I finally watched
mundane movies.
Goodfellas with Jude, and he was like, "So many things I've seen make sense now."
Yep.
Yeah.
Who like the De Niro in Taxi Driver? You talking to me?
Yeah.
You talking to me? It's like, oh, I wonder what that's from. I'm gonna go watch it. Oh my god, my eyeballs. Oh my god, my brain.
Yes. So all right, April sneaks in and is spying on them. She steals a dart, which has some of the ooze in it, and then she steals the whole vial while Bebop and Rocksteady are smashing the place up with their general joie de vivre.
She gets an Indiana Jones stunt, bro.
Yeah, she like does some tumbling and running and sliding.
Yeah, the slide. I was like, that's kind of cool, I guess.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't care what business or office it is. There are not enough hats and jackets for you to put on that woman that nobody notices her walking.
Yes.
That's a police station. It's like her and then Laura Linney and then
Well, but also again, this is an office in a whole skyscraper. What are on all the other floors that they're like blowing things up and teleporting things, and they have rhino men and the insurance office one floor down is like, I hate those guys.
It's the Baxter building.
oh.
So anyway, she runs
But how
out.
cool would it have, I'm sorry to interrupt, but how cool would it have been to just have some mousers? Like in the Stockman lab, even when Vern went back later. Sorry to jump ahead, but you know what I mean?
Just sitting there, maybe.
Yeah.
Or even coming after Vern as he's getting the camera. Yeah. Just
So
occurred
all
to me.
right. She runs out and is chased by the Foot Clan, but is saved by Casey Jones in a hockey mask. She loses the ooze, which ends up being found by the police. She and Casey meet the turtles. They head to the sewer layer. Casey agrees to work with them to save the city while Donatello examines the ooze.
The giant rat bit was pretty funny.
Yeah, it was fine.
It
was
just
cute.
he is freaked out by the turtles, but says, "Guys, there's a giant rat over there," and they get him to attack it.
Well, but here's the thing. It's a giant rat wearing clothing, and I just met 4 turtles wearing clothing.
Right.
I'd be like,
That's
hey,
what- yeah,
do you know that rat?
that's what I
My
mean.
first
So,
question.
like Laura Linney bitches about having to deal with the rhinoceros and a warthog, and then is like incredulous at the turtles. Like, what is this? Are you kidding me? I got to deal with this rhino and warthog. Stop with the turtle bullshit.
So Donnie figures out that the ooze could turn them all human and tells Leonardo about it. Leo decides not to tell the other 2 turtles, although Mikey overhears the conversation. Shredder retrieves the piece of the transporter from the museum, while Mikey tells Raphael about the ooze and that Leo was keeping it secret. Raphael's angry. He confronts Leo. They argue. They're interrupted by Donnie telling them that an alarm went off at the museum. For some reason, he has the museum alarm set on like a Google alert or something. Leo and Donnie head out with Leo ordering Raph and Mikey to stay behind. Raph, in his anger, decides to go after the vial of ooze at the police station.
I don't understand why they split up. I mean, obviously, so the movie could happen, but it's not a Ninja Turtles thing that they do.
No, it's because they wanted to create some sort of false, like conflict between them, so they had to come together at the end. But it was all so. I would say it's so contrived, but this is a movie about anthropomorphic turtles fighting.
Totally,
fighting brains from other dimensions. So I don't know.
I
give up.
Story wise, it would have made more sense for them to go on this adventure together and split up, or something.
I think I give up on everything. At the
Yeah,
museum.
Brazil, there's nothing. They don't even do anything when they're there.
Yeah.
No, at the museum, there's no reason for them to go to the museum except for Donnie to figure out that Shredder's collecting pieces of a machine to open a portal to another dimension. Neutronium? It has neutronium signatures. Is
That's an awful
neutronium a
lot.
Real thing? Science, Al? Science,
You-
Al?
Neutronium is a hypothetical substance. It in hypothetical science, an atom that has no protons is completely made of neutrons. Thus, it would make it element 0 before hydrogen on the periodic table.
Would it create black holes?
Um,
I'm checking to see if the science checks out. We know it doesn't.
no,
Ooze. Tell us about ooze.
but they do theorize that this substance could exist in the cores of neutron stars.
Interesting.
So, all right. Anyways, it's gonna Donatello figures out that Shredder's collecting pieces of a machine to open a portal to another dimension. Raphael and Mikey recruit April and Casey to break into the police HQ and get the ooze back. They in turn recruit Vern, who's busy receiving the key to the city for his supposed heroism. Vern goes in, creates a distraction while Casey, April, and the turtles sneak in and get the ooze. These turtles are a solid 7 feet tall. They're like 4 feet wide with their shells. Yet the air ducts in the police station are fucking gigantic.
Yeah, they
They're
can
big
get
enough
into
to
anywhere.
push- The air ducts, the heating vents in the police station are big enough to drive a golf cart through.
Yeah, but he can all subtly and slowly drop the passcode down through the vent or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. They're interrupted by Foot Clan ninjas. Raph and Mikey have to reveal themselves to the humans in order to get the ooze back, which they do just as Donnie and Leo show up. They're held at gunpoint by terrified police, including Chief Becky, I call her, in private. Until April and Casey put themselves between the cops and the turtles, allowing the turtles to escape, although Casey and April are taken into custody. Back at their lair, Leo and Raph are furious at each other, but they're also disheartened by the humans' reactions to the turtles' appearance. Leo is upset that he can't get the turtles to all be on the same page. Splinter tells him that it's their differences that makes them strong. Donnie tracks the ooze signature and Bebop and Rocksteady. And they realize they're on a flight to Brazil. So they sneak onto a cargo plane to catch them. And this is the point where time ceases to exist in the way that we currently know it.
Yes.
Because, oh my God,
Go
the
off the
Brazil
rails.
trip and the interrogation room
It's
sequence.
because of the neutronium.
How did these turtles get onto an airplane?
So
Through like a cargo door, obviously, but like they are 7 feet tall and there are 4 of them.
So I'm jumping ahead a bit here, but this timeline is insane. Like, and I know movies love to play fast and loose with timelines and traveling and everything, but this one is just one of the most bonkers things I've ever seen. In the amount of time, so Casey and April are being interrogated by the police chief for the entirety of the turtles' trip to and back from Brazil, which by my calculations would take a minimum of 48 hours, assuming that they fell in the jungle about 100 yards away from another airport.
Right. Yeah. And if they got to the right place without any
And
travel.
didn't have to wait for a plane, that the plane they needed, they jumped onto the minute they got to the airport and didn't have to wait 4 or 5 hours.
And yet not drive into the jungle like it says it was.
Don't they all weigh like a ton each?
Yes.
Yeah.
An airplane.
How do they get on an airplane
And
without them being
obviously-
like, did somebody
know.
park a car in the cargo hold?
And how do they
Yeah,
know
and they're
which
bitching about the
cargo-
service.
We have like a manifest.
And how do they know which of these cargo planes is going to Brazil and is going to cross paths with the flight that Rocksteady and Bebop are on back from Brazil?
Go
The internet.
the other way. Yeah.
That's I assume that it is. Do we have a genius level intellect on this team, Al?
I mean,
Well,
Yes, we do.
Most together in the past,
So-
not so much.
Donatello is technically a genius.
but how do Ooh, hey, Michael. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us. Yes, but how did he know what flight they were going to take back? I assume this is a private Foot Clan plane. The Foot Clan was flying it. It's not on any sort of it's not on any sort of like flight path. Like, how does he know that the cargo plane they sneak on is going to cross paths with it, which is going to be a minimum of 12 hours later, by the way? Like, none of this makes any sense time-wise or...
Also, the speed at which these planes are passing each other. How long does he say? You have 30 seconds? No. False. Like,
yeah.
You have like less than 5 seconds, I would say. Like, that's an insane period of time.
And when you hit the plane, you are going to be a green splatter.
Well, yeah. Well, and I mean, they're traveling in the opposite directions at over 500 miles an hour.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, come on, let's be realistic. That they could do, but you know, a plane much higher than the Chrysler Building, fine. But all of a sudden, Raph is surprisingly afraid of heights, like terrified. Whereas
out of nowhere,
he actually stuck all of his limbs inside of his shell as he was falling off of the building in the beginning. Like,
just out of nowhere, he's afraid of heights. Yeah,
like really afraid. Not just, you know, he could have said like, "Oh, this is a little higher than we're used to," but no.
So, all right. So, Casey and April are being interrogated by the chief of police for 48 straight hours, apparently, according by my calculations. So the police has footage of April stealing the ooze from Baxter's lab and are charging them with a crime because of this. They say the footage, quote, checks out. The footage checks out.
We have it authenticated, she says.
You watched this multiple times, right, Throw? Did you pay attention to this? What actually happened? Because she says that's not what happened.
But it is.
Doctor. Yeah, and I'm like, but what happened? I don't remember. They didn't make it obvious. Is she just
edited out the beginning that showed the warthog and the pig? That's all they did.
They just decreased the size of the frame.
Yeah.
So,
but also
that was all, yeah.
Also, like their crime, what does it matter if she stole the purple ooze? She absolutely, they committed a crime in stopping the police from apprehending the turtles and sneaking into the police station to steal evidence. That's a crime by itself, which they have them dead to rights on.
Yeah.
So, all right. Also, by the way, it is not a law that you get a phone call.
Yeah.
That's not a law.
You have the right to an attorney, but not a phone call.
And the police will give
not
you
when
that
it's
phone
Homeland
call to
Security.
contact your...
Yeah.
Well, and she's not. She's the chief of police of New York City.
Yeah.
She's NYPD chief of police.
Oh,
she's very involved with this case.
She is. She's very much a foot soldier herself.
There's not a lot of police for New York City. Also, there should be so many more people and police. How are there no people in this movie?
There are very few
there
people
are
in this
12 people in the entire New York City head of the cops, or like the head of, or the headquarters. There's 12 people in the entire headquarters for all of New York City.
Right. And yet, yeah, they had an unarmed corrections officer, you know, dealing with all this high profile shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and then taking all the flack for it.
Yeah. Yeah, we did actually start early, Michael. Michael's asking if we started early. Yeah, we started a bit early. It is recording, but we I should probably update the show notes because we recently started, and then also daylight savings changed. But yeah. Anyway, so all right. So in Brazil, Bebop and Rocksteady retrieve the missing components to the machine. They head back to the US. The turtles do the whole cargo plane heist. They end up crashing in the middle of the Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
And then have to get back to an airport to get to New York again.
Covertly.
Yes.
Onto the plane. You know, you can travel
Yes.
covertly in the rainforest, but once you got to get, you're right.
Well,
It
and
didn't need to be Brazil. Even when they got to Brazil, it didn't matter that it was Brazil.
why does the plane have to split in half and then crash to the ground? Why can't they just take the plane back? Why do we?
Yeah, because now this creates, like I said, minimum of 48 hours, them having to traverse through the rainforest to find an airport that has a cargo plane that they can sneak on that's going to New York, no less. It's probably a solid 2-week endeavor, assuming they survive the Amazon.
Yeah.
And then, meanwhile, the MacGuffins thereafter are teleportation related devices. But it's just jump from one plane to another like they're fucking Tom Cruise in MI, you know? Like,
oh my God.
They did tell us that they were near Manaus, which is in the middle of the rainforest, the capital of Amazonia, the province of Amazonia.
Well, good for them. It did not matter.
No.
Yeah. Is there an airport? Is there an international airport nearby there?
In Manaus?
Waterfall in upstate New York.
Yeah, but how far from Manaus are they? Because they were in airplanes and the airplanes kept flying. Like they could be hundreds of miles. They might have to traverse through hundreds of miles of rainforest.
Nothing ties it to Brazil, though. Nothing. It's just a river rapids scene. Okay,
yeah. It doesn't matter.
Action movie, fine.
It doesn't matter. They could have been like in Tennessee. It did not matter.
So, you read up on some of the production of this movie, Thoreau, right? I have two questions about the production of it, and that made me think about Brazil and why Brazil was in this movie, and I still couldn't answer the question myself. Alibaba Productions, and then there's like a Chinese Ministry of Film or something,
right?
The title cards,
right? That is all just because they needed money. Those are just they just got money from those people. That's all.
Oh,
but I mean, oftentimes
Michael Bay has crazy connections to Eastern film.
But those kinds of financial agreements, oftentimes they'll have some sort of ask, that kind of thing. It just made me think, like, I wonder if they're filming this somewhere that has to do with those kinds of things, because Brazil's a weird choice. You know, why not?
Yes. And we've seen so many movies. We understand the MacGuffin concept, and you know, and usually, you know, we've talked about it with Star Wars because there's always something. But the location will relate to the object in some form or another. It's across this body of water we have to get to. It's buried under this thing. It didn't matter that this was Brazil. I was waiting to see a Carnival parade since we had seen Carnival people in the Halloween parade. And I was like, I'll bet you anything they fucking do a parade, which happens in March, you know. But no, there was not even a landmark. It was a waterfall and a jungle.
Yeah, no, none of it mattered. None of this mattered, and none of it made any sense.
One in a building in New York and one is in Brazil.
It doesn't matter. No, this
not even the same longitude and latitude or some kind of thing.
No, this plot makes no sense. It's the dumbest thing ever.
These turtles.
Back in New York, Casey and April are still being interrogated. The chief leaves. They've been being interrogated for weeks.
He doesn't know anything. Leave him alone.
The chief leaves them alone in the interrogation room, and Casey steals her phone. Good thing there's not like a window where people would probably continue to watch them.
Yeah. He learned how to steal from the prisoners at the prison that he's a corrections officer at.
What the fuck is this?
Look, Casey, you don't need to put things up your butt. We're not in a prison anymore.
God, fuck this movie.
It's like, how do you think I got the phone out of the room?
The more we talk about this movie, the more I hate it.
You put it in your ass.
I thought it was fun after the first time. After the second time, I thought it was less fun. But now talking about it, I think this might be one of the worst things we've ever covered. This is bad.
But honestly, I think this one is better than the first one. I had more
Yeah.
fun with this movie because the first
I
one
like
was
this
just
better.
a slog.
The first
This
one was,
one,
This Buck sack.
this one is
Yeah.
insane in like
Yeah.
a fun way.
yeah, no. It was a lot more fun than the first one, and it gets something for that at least.
Yeah.
So
Well,
anyways,
the fun was the cameos and the way that, like just
Yeah.
seeing Krang. There was nothing about Krang that was good.
no.
But
Yeah.
seeing him was fun.
So April uses her phone call to call Vern, who agrees to help spring them from custody. He goes to the security room of the building with Baxter's lab. How long is it going to take that guy to get him a mochaccino? He was in there a long time. And he steals the undoctored footage from the security camera. Meanwhile, the turtles catch a flight back to New York while Baxter, who has all the pieces of the teleporter now, starts up the machine to open the portal. Vern takes the footage to the chief, shows her that Baxter was creating monsters, so the chief frees April and Casey. And at that moment, the portal starts to open.
I just want to ask, if you know that you're up to some evil business and you know it's so evil to the point that you have fake video footage, why make backup legit footage? You know what I mean? I would just
Why?
use the 3 fake cameras that showed lab business happening all the time.
Why?
He's like,
Yeah,
no,
why
it's like Nixon level kind of shit. Like, why are you recording yourself, you fucking
Yeah.
idiot?
Why are you recording yourself making warthog and rhino monsters if, like, it's gonna, the NYPD is gonna come arrest you for making a rhino monster?
Right. Or you're like, God damn it, the new intern gave him the wrong video footage.
Right? Yeah. And this is, again, the NYPD. This isn't like the Homeland Security. This isn't the FBI. It's NYPD.
All like 15 of
there.
them.
Yep. There aren't even people on the street when the shit happens at the end. Yeah. All right.
It's like a post-apocalyptic New York or something.
Yeah.
So the turtles are back home in the sewer at this point.
Turtles?
They hear the portal starting to open. Donnie somehow hacks into pieces of the Technodrome.
The Technodrome.
The Technodrome.
Where the
Hacks
Astros
into
play.
it. This is not just an alien piece of hardware, which we know from Independence Day they would not actually be able to do that. We discussed this way back in our Independence Day episode.
Well, and what sucks is now it's called the Citibank One. And it's just lame.
Okay, I will say my favorite part of this sequence is that we get to see the turtles kind of surf. Kind of, whatever, on pieces of shit as they're flying towards this forming piece of shit in the sky, the velodrome of techno music.
And I'll answer Michael's question off here to the side. Like, yes, TMNT 3 does make more sense.
Yeah, you turn a lamp from that
Afterwards.
one. This one, it
This
doesn't
is
make
just
any
historical
sense.
arms dealers, right?
This one makes no internal sense. Like,
Yeah.
that's its big thing. If it made sense internally, you could forgive a lot of stuff, but like it just doesn't make sense within its own universe.
Yeah.
So they hack into the Technodrome. Luckily, it has the name of Krang. So Donnie knows Krang's name, Commander Krang.
Hi, this is Commander Krang.
Like, oh my God. If he's Commander Krang, there must be an admiral he reports to somewhere.
Yes, that's what. Yeah, he has higher ups.
Like, yeah. So they discover that the purple ooze will allow them, or that their particular thing, being turtles, will let them get close enough to the portal to fight Krang where humans can't, but they can make themselves look human without the ooze, and then they decide not to do it, and they're going to stay turtles. All of this was lacking in any sort of dramatic tension because...
No, there was a tiny bit where for like half a second, it was almost going to have that like Captain America Civil War energy of like, you don't have the right to decide for all of us.
Yeah.
What's right for all of us. It should be ours. And that just was a minute. And I was thinking to myself when it was happening, like, wow, this is some of the most drama I've seen between fucking turtles. And then It's over. It's just Raph is mad.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
all.
No internal struggle, no emotion to it. No talking
Well,
to their sensei about becoming human, which they never were.
And
Well,
the
no, this-
resolution of this is them listing off their strengths and weaknesses.
Yes.
That's how the gang comes back together. And it's the second time they've done that in this movie. I thought that was
It was
super
sweet,
weak.
too.
Like, yeah, it would have been really nice to have them just show us this instead of literally telling us in 2 expositional dialogue moments.
Well, one thing I wanted to point out again is like there were things where like it would like freeze frame and like it would name them and stuff, and like there was like a moment where like there was like where there was like game show music playing in the background, but then throughout the whole thing there was like the standard like Michael Bay score, like bum 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 happening, which was so inconsistent with what was going on screen.
Well, and I know it was way before, but Stockman says that you mutate because of this like dormant gene that relates to our animal side. Or we don't have any common ancestry with rhinos and warthogs, and
That's
the
the thing,
turtles
yeah.
were not human ever.
It said it activates the dormant genes from our ancestors. We are not descended from rhinos.
No.
We are not descended from warthogs.
Speak for yourself.
Other than we had a
Okay.
common ancestor, like a little mammal some millions of years ago, but we do not share common ancestry. Like we are not descended from them. They are not our ancestors.
Yeah, not in the way he explains it. No. Yeah. And then again, where is that dormant gene in the turtles?
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
It was
Like,
a
they
human
mutate to be
gene
bipedal.
inside the turtle.
Yeah, but
The
where did
turtles
they
are
come
descended
from?
from humans. Except
Yeah.
they're really not. They're
But they weren't. It
reptiles.
wasn't like a like the fly, where Jeff Goldblum. Like it wasn't a human was trapped with the turtle, and
Yeah.
Oh,
these were 4 turtles in ooze. They just became smart.
So
and
did the
bipedal.
ooze have a bunch of human DNA in it? Ugh.
Ew. If Law and Order's correct, it was mostly semen then.
they were bit by a radioactive human.
Yep. Exactly. Dude, they're Chernobyl.
So wait. I wanted to point out something that drove me crazy about the turtles' design. And this is something that wasn't as obvious in the first one to me for some reason, but so they all are like built, like we're like strong, we've got big pecs and stuff,
Yeah.
but their shell front, that's still shell. That
Yeah.
shouldn't be in the shape of like pecs and abs. It's just a shell. It's
Nobody wants to
weird.
fuck a real turtle. They want to fuck anthropomorphized
Yeah,
teenage
that would be
mutant
cut.
ninja turtles.
Need 6-pack.
Yeah, it's really weird.
Half shells.
The character design compared to like classic character design.
It really is weird.
They look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, anyways, Shredder has the Foot Clan take Baxter back to Tokyo against his will, while Baxter, who just made him a handheld transporter, which again, like, why does he need Krang? He's got this.
And why not make 2 so you can bounce? You know, be like, I made one for myself, and in the meantime, I built a second one. Here, you can have it.
They're like,
I'm
it
out.
can take you anywhere in the universe except Brazil.
So all right, Shredder teleports into the Technodrome.
He stepped into the octagon. No, he finds Tina Turner in that fucking
She's holding
Road
out for a
Warrior
hero. They don't need another hero, Shredder. Anyways, so Krang.
We didn't need another villain.
Yeah, Krang
They totally
betrays
smashed
Shredder and puts him in his collection. He freezes him and puts him in his collection.
Yeah.
With a bunch of other frozen guys. The turtles decide they're going to head to the middle of the Technodrome and send a beacon. Okay, so there's a beacon that the Technodrome is going to, and
It's what all the pieces are drawn to, flying towards.
Which I kind of liked.
Yeah.
I like that. I like the parts flying.
oh yeah,
you
no,
know,
it
and then
looked cool.
ching,
It
ching,
definitely
ching,
looked
ching.
cool for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Um,
Well, that's all I had.
So
That's what I was thinking.
before we go, so this thing is assembling, right?
yeah.
Krang opens the door and puts Shredder inside his little frozen toy container, right?
Yeah, his toys.
Did all those dudes get sent through the black hole as individual pieces?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like, what is going on? And why is Krang just by himself with the
Takes his
Technodrome?
collection.
Why
Yeah.
isn't he just sending like an army of robots through? Why does
Right.
he need to build
Those-
a Death
Those
Star?
big robots that can do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and it seems like it's spacefaring, so why not build it in space?
That's what I'm saying. Why didn't he send his stuff to space? It burned up in Earth's atmosphere, broke up in Earth's atmosphere. Why didn't he just send it into space?
Yeah.
It's a Death Star. He built a Death Star. Like,
Yeah.
that's what it is.
But a hollow one made
Yes.
for horse races and
No heart
fighting.
and soul, like our beloved Death
He
Star.
stands in the middle of this big hollow Death Star and shoots one laser. Like, it just has one laser. It's just a big hollow sphere with a single laser. What the fuck is this?
Yeah, and it's surprising he couldn't destroy this dimension.
He's
some
a
other
bad
way.
military commander. He should be stripped of his rank because this is a terrible plan. And it's apparently taken years for him to pull off.
And he mismanaged the Veterans Fund, which was the most grievous of errors.
So the turtles jump from the Chrysler building into the Technodrome. They're able to defeat Krang in hand-to-hand combat, while April, Casey, and Vern
And
fight Bebop and Rocksteady at the lab facility because they have to turn off the portal after the Technodrome goes back through it.
I just want to give a shout out to some of the best product placement in any movie to the Hamada Cargo Corporation, whose name was on everything, even the dump truck.
Which is okay. So the product placement was weird because they kept name checking Apple products and mentioned Steve Jobs in the same breath as Newton and Einstein.
Whoa.
Yeah, that was weird.
Just picturing Isaac Newton in a black turtleneck and jeans.
Just dropping an apple.
He's like, look, what goes up? Yeah, it's like,
He's like, imagine something that keeps trees stuck to Earth. Imagine something that keeps people stuck to Earth. And then imagine something that keeps oceans stuck to Earth. Now imagine it's all the same thing.
think different.
Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Uproarious applause.
Who's dead?
So the turtles hurl the beacon back through the portal. The Technodrome and Krang go with it. April shuts down the portal machine, closing the portal and saving the Earth from Krang. The turtles get honored at a secret ceremony by the chief of police at the Statue of Liberty. The chief urges them to go public, but they decide to stay in hiding. They go
Always
to the
the
Statue of Liberty, where they all just go, yay!
Turtle power or something.
Roll credits.
I want to say, I saw a headline this week that baby Galapagos tortoises were found for the first time.
Oh,
Aw, awesome.
Almost 100 years.
That's a big plus.
Turtle power.
turtle
Yeah.
power.
Found it forever.
I don't know. I don't know what else to say about this movie.
I mean, we talked about our unanswered question.
It was bad, but fun.
Yeah, it was more fun than the first one. It was truly terrible. It felt like a 1992 movie made by Michael Bay in 2016.
Well, and they just didn't lean into the fun cartoonishness. They had it, but there were too many scenes in, interrogation rooms in Brazil and planes, and it's just like more Krang, more mutants. If that's what we're gonna do, let's do it.
Yeah. If you're gonna go over the top, stupid, like for kids, just go all the way with it. Don't try to like thread this needle of also partially being like a gritty Michael Bay action film.
Yeah.
Well, right. We said Krang slapped Shredder right away, so it was like right away they take away his villainy. So not even the foot seems sinister later on. None of it. It's just like, what about that alien dude? Forget the ninjas.
Okay, one last thing. I have one unanswered question. Why didn't Shredder have his Shredder armor? Did he only have one suit?
Yeah, he put on
Yeah,
that
good
helmet
point.
at one
He didn't
point.
have-
He had the metal gauntlet with the blades on it, like he's Wolverine, but
Yeah,
he didn't.
but he didn't have his armor anymore. Yeah.
Why? That's such a weird, like, there's no in-universe explanation for it. He's like, nah, I got my hair cut when I was in, and I thought it looked nice.
So wait.
So,
Andrea
I'm gonna go
Andrea just gave us turtle alter egos, and I feel like it's strangely fitting,
I
uncomfortably
think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So she says Thoreau's Leonardo, Al is Donatello, Josh is Raphael, and Brian is Michelangelo.
I'll allow it.
Yeah, I can't argue with that
I
at all.
Yeah.
It's perfectly. I have 3 unanswered questions, which we haven't covered yet. 1, where do the turtles get money for pizza? I can get that they steal their tech, but we see them on screen paying for the pizza.
I think they steal from criminals. If we're allowing them a place to steal, they're Robin Hooding the bad guys.
They're stealing from the criminals and giving to the pizza delivery man.
Yeah.
Well, they don't give him anything, I don't think, right? We just see him. But so maybe April has a debit card set up for them.
Oh, yeah. Maybe April's giving them pizza money. That's a good point.
Yeah.
But you're right. There's thievery happening.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Obviously.
absolutely. Without question. My second question is, who in the Foot Clan cooked 2 oil drums full of spaghetti and meatballs?
For 2 herbivore animals.
Yes.
Yeah, I know. There's nothing implied meat in spaghetti, but yeah,
We
like
see
just
the meatballs, though. I mean, I guess they could be
you do?
vegetarian meatballs, but I don't know.
All right. Yeah,
But
they
2
could have just
full
been
oil-
2. Just like
My question about that
troughs of
scene is,
vegetables.
why were they eating them off the bottom of the bucket
Yeah.
instead of eating it out of a bucket?
Yeah, you're
Like
right.
they had an
Foot Soldiers made
upside
all
down
that
paint
spaghetti?
bucket, and it was just heaped on top of a bucket, like not a plate on a table.
But
The
there were
They were
bottom
barrels.
of
I
a
thought they
bucket.
were drums. I
Yeah,
thought they were-
and there were 2 full oil drums of spaghetti
right,
and
yeah.
meatballs.
Yeah.
Did they make them in the drums? No, you'd have to strain the water.
Yeah, someone in the Foot Clan made a lot of spaghetti earlier that morning.
He's all, I'm good with my hands. Everyone else, foot.
That spaghetti was supposed to feed the whole clan.
That's fantastic. It was supposed to be.
They do meal prep for the entire gang to save
And
money.
they walk back in the room and they're like, "Motherfucker, you guys,
You
Who
stuck
left
your
the- who left
snout
the
in the
door
middle of
open?
the oil drum."
that was for the clan."
They probably shit in the corner too.
And the last one, does April still work for Whoopi Goldberg?
Oh yeah,
Does
she
still
was.
work?
Did-
Yeah,
Did you get her job back?
yeah. Who is she reporting to?
You're right. That was another role, sort of like Tyler Perry's, where it's like she must have been a fan, right? Like all of these shitty actors, and low budget action, and then Whoopi Goldberg.
Yeah,
And
but
then
like, yeah,
Tyler
and this time
Perry,
they swapped out Whoopi for Tyler Perry and Laura Linney, but also like, who is she a reporter for?
Yeah,
She has a
Yes, you're
blog,
right.
maybe.
It's 2016. It could be. Yeah, she could
true.
just have a YouTube channel, for all we know.
Like, which influencer are you?
She's got a TikTok.
Did we
That's
mention
all.
the tagline for this movie?
What was it?
Out of the shadows.
Raise some shell.
Raise some shell.
Raise some
Ugh.
shell.
Uh,
I like
I
Michael's
got-
coming out of their shell reunion tour, like the
Yeah.
ZZ Top Recycler tour.
My unanswered question: why have they still not completed the Christmas album?
The hip hop Christmas album, yeah. They've had so many years.
They mention it in this movie again.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, when Leonardo's
Oh.
mad and Mikey's like bummed out that he's mad, he's like, "Don't tell I told, because we won't be able to finish our hip hop Christmas album."
Yeah. So, all right, guys, you want to rank this thing?
Okie dokie.
Yep.
Yep.
All right. So, let's see. Teenage. So, all right.
I
So
like-
here they're kind of grouped together strangely. Turtles 3 is at 74. The Turtles 14 is at 82.
I feel like we had more fun with Turtles in Time than this.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we had more
I'm
fun
not-
with this than
I'm
Turtles
not putting this
14.
above Howard. I'm not putting this above Toxie 2.
I think it goes above Turtles 14, though. Personally.
That was the one before this.
Yeah, that
the
was
first time
yeah,
we saw the mocap
yeah,
Uncanny Turtles.
yeah, exactly.
Okay,
Um,
then in between that and Toxie 2. I mean, I can live
I'm
with
happy
it
with
going
that. Yeah. I'm
in between Toxie 2 and that. Because you're right, a little better.
A little better, but not enough to be better than like much else.
Yep.
No, because even the Toxic Avenger justifies going to Japan better than this justifies going to
Brazil, yeah.
Brazil.
What are your thoughts, Al?
I'm cool with that.
All right, nice and easy. We're just going to stick it there. Underneath, out of the shadows. Oot. Out of the oots. Yeah, sorry, oots.
Oh.
TMNT oots. At number 82, right above Turtles 14. Yeah, I think that's as good as anywhere else, honestly.
Yeah.
That's about all I got to say about this one, which means it's time to look forward to next week. And on next week's episode of Harmless Phosphorescence, we are going to be watching Suicide Squad.
Okay.
Yeah. It brought it. Hey, you know what? It wasn't a total loss. We got Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn out of it, and I consider that a net gain.
Yeah, it set up some things.
Yeah, for sure. So, but I haven't seen it since it came out, so I don't know. There's going to be a lot of, what is this, some kind of podcast? Oh, there's my line. All right. So that is next week. Until then, thank you everybody for hanging out with us. This has been your host, Rose Smiley, and I have to go because my boyhood is drawing to an end.
I'm Josh CC, and yeah, thanks, Kevin. We'll see you next week.
I'm Brian Lashin. Oh, wait, I have one more question. What would Vin Diesel do?
It's like they say, if you want to get work done, don't spend time at the zoo.
That old chestnut.
What they say.
Wait, who says that?
Yeah,
I'm Alaric Weber.
Alaric Weber.
Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next week. Goodbye.